It's really no secret that Iowa has not been an offensive juggernaut in the last couple of seasons under the tutelage of Kirk Ferentz and his son Brian, to the point that they were widely mocked that a contract stipulation showed that Iowa had to score 28 points a game, average 28 points a game, for Brian Ferentz to keep his job. And they've done all they could to skirt the nepotism laws in the state, and yet it didn't work out, and Kirk Ferentz had to bring in a new offensive coordinator. But what does it say about the state of your program, the state of your offense, the state of your prospects of developing and putting anybody anywhere higher than being the 13th, 14th, 15th best offense in the Big Ten, when a player like General Booty, which is like, we don't have to ignore the elephant in the room. It's hilarious to say. A player like General Booty, who's transferring from Oklahoma, is looking for a new college football home. And he looked at Iowa, went to campus, saw the facilities, chatted with the coaches, was flat out courted by Iowa to come join that quarterback room. And instead, he's going to Louisiana-Monroe. Now, there are a lot of different things that you could take away from that. You could infer from that. Could General Booty go from Oklahoma to Louisiana-Monroe and compete for the starting job right away? Yeah, probably. And maybe even compete is a strong word. Is it his job to lose? Probably. Now, if he goes to Iowa, so you have to compete with Cade McNamara? Yes. But Cade McNamara is 28 years old. That's not reality. It's hyperbole. But Cade McNamara has been around the block for a hot second, and there's a reason that he's still a college quarterback, because the prospects of playing in the league are not high. But what does it say about the state of your program, the state of your offense, that a Power 5, Power 4 quarterback is looking for a transfer spot? You court him, and he ultimately decides to go to Louisiana-Monroe. I agree that it's jumping to conclusions to say that it's just flat out, your offense is so bad. And I firmly believe that being bad offensively in 2024 is a choice. It is a choice to not be good, or at least quasi-explosive in 2024, with the advancements in philosophy, scheme, etc. To be bad offensively in 2024 is a choice. Now, it's not as easy to be dynamic and explosive and high-flying, or whatever adjectives you want to put towards an offense. But it's easy to be, one, slightly unpredictable, but then two, efficient and pretty good at this in 2024. And I don't know that Iowa is any of those things. And I think it's fair to say that a player, especially at the quarterback position, can look at Iowa and go, does that give me the best chance to develop into an NFL quarterback? Because that was the draw to Iowa for a while, was Kirk Ferentz had coached in the NFL, and he had NFL experience, and he brought NFL experience to his position coaches and coordinators. And you could say, like, hey, defensively, we're going to get you ready for the NFL. Offensively, and they've done it at tight end, running back, quarterback a little bit, Drew Tate, Ricky Stanzi. They've had some guys, now obviously not NFL stars or any stretch the imagination at that position, but guys who were longtime backups in the NFL because they ran a quote-unquote pro-style offense. Well, the quote-unquote pro-style offense has changed in 2024, and Iowa hasn't. And so, can you really blame General Booty for looking at Iowa? And maybe it just truly, honestly, strictly does come down to playing time and somewhat proximity to home, right? Like to just say, I can go to Louisiana-Monroe and play football, play a lot of it. Got 2 years of eligibility left. If I want to go there and just have a good, fun, wholesome, clean college football experience where I'm just going to get to play a lot, have some fun, and not have the immense pressure of a ridiculously large fan base bearing down on me if I don't perform at my best each and every step. I'm not going to knock that because I think there is some value in that. If you are not going to someday be, a first through fifth round NFL draft pick, or you're not going to be a NFL starting quarterback someday, I think it's okay to prioritize. Like, I'm just going to play football and have fun at this. I'm going to get a free education. I'm going to go somewhere that I enjoy playing. I'm close to family, and I'm never going to knock that. So I'm not going to knock General Booty for choosing Louisiana-Monroe. I might knock Iowa for looking at the situation and going like, a Power 4 quarterback was available for you. They looked at that thought process. They looked at your philosophy, your scheme, your development facilities, whatever the case may be, took it all into account, your NIL package, took it all into account, and said, yeah, you know what? I think Louisiana-Monroe might be a better fit for me. And I think that should lead to some questions, not just from Kirk Ferentz in his own staff, but like from the athletic department to go like, okay, well, wait a second. What are we doing wrong? How did this happen? And if it is just a flat out, General Booty said, I'm going to play closer to home than Iowa. It's just not the perfect fit for me. Then, okay, you have the answers to those questions. But if the questions are, how did this happen? How did a somewhat big-time Power 4 quarterback recruit decide he'd rather go to Louisiana-Monroe than Iowa? And if the answers are, I didn't like the scheme, I don't think it's a great fit, I don't know that I have a chance to be developed into an NFL quarterback in that room, I don't think we have a chance to be successful in the Big Ten at that university. I don't think there's a chance to play for conference championships, let alone college football playoff burst, national championships, and the NIL's not good enough. If those are the answers, then you have some really difficult questions to ask yourself. And I don't know that Iowa wants to be in that situation where I can't imagine being a Power 4 head coach, especially in the Big Ten, where you've had a lot of success. Being a head coach and having the fan base wonder, how in the hell did we lose somebody to a school like Louisiana-Monroe? How did that happen? I wouldn't want to answer those questions. I wouldn't want to have to sit in a press conference or at the coach's show at the local barbecue joint and have to say, well, you see, what happened was it's not a good situation. Maybe he's just reading too much into it. I don't know. All I know is I wouldn't want to be in that situation, and I sure as hell wouldn't want to be in that situation again. A second time, if something even remotely close, similar happens to this situation where somebody chooses a low-level group of 5 school over Iowa, who should be a B-level Big Ten program, and sometimes there's been defensively, they have been an A-level Big Ten program. They have been one of the best defenses in America at times in the course of the last 5-10 years. And offensively, they've been the worst offense in America. So you got to figure it out. And the fact that it hasn't been figured out in this long would lead me to start asking some uncomfortable questions. But the contract is so good that Kirk Ferentz is never going to get run out of Iowa. He's never going to get fired. He's going to have to leave on his own. And that's just one of the byproducts of being successful at a place that hasn't experienced gobs and gobs of it and is willing to say, like, hey, you know what? 9-3 is great. And there really is nothing wrong with saying 9-3 is great. But 9-3 is great when you could be 11-1 or in some years 12-0 or whatever the case may be, but your offense has been so historically bad that it puts you in a situation where it looks like you stink. It's not a good situation. And so I hope for Iowa's sake that it is just General Booty saying, you know what? I'm not going to be playing in the NFL someday. I might as well stay close to home, chuck the pigskin around a little bit, have some fun. Because the other option is not a good one for a program that should expect better in 2024. That'll do it for today's episode of the Daily Huddle. Appreciate you making us a part of your day, however it is, wherever it is you're doing. So if you are watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're getting all the great college football content that we're pumping out here. If you are listening on the podcast feed, drop a 5-star review. It goes a long way in helping out the channel. I'll see you on Sunday for another episode here of the Daily Huddle.